Okay, it's Nick Dutch here again. And I mentioned in the comments of the video which I done most recently with Wise Monkey, that if he wants to let it go, then fine. But I made the mistake of then watching the video which he did in response after I'd made that comment. And what I came up with, I was actually rather disappointed with. Now, if it is true that there have been people setting up troll accounts for the purposes of trolling Wise Monkey, that really was not what I was trying to achieve, and basically, you know, it's not really desirable. So let's try and not do that, pretty please. But because of the emotion that was expressed by Wise Monkey, I feel I better treat his video the way in which I would treat any other video of this type. Here goes.
Okay, quick response to Nick Dutch concerning... bear with me for a moment. Concerning the unnecessary furore with regards to the discussion of media studies and its viability in the employment sector.
It wasn't me who turned it into a discussion about the employment sector, and that was not my argument. My argument from the very first video I did about this was its importance in the world. So essentially, if you have chosen, which indeed you have, to regard this as being a debate about the employment sector, you have missed the point of my first video entirely, which shows that you're not necessarily capable of paying attention to the ideas which are presented in a YouTube video. But either way, let's carry on.
It seems that ultimately you're unable to assimilate statistics.
That's actually factually inaccurate.
You're unable to acknowledge those. And there seems...
No, I am able to acknowledge them. It's just a question of a willingness, taking into account the nature of the argument and the nature of the debate that we were having, which I started with you and you chose to participate in. Now, if you chose to turn it into a discussion about employment, well then that's another issue. But that wasn't what I was discussing with you.
Seems to be accompanying you an entire coven, if you pardon the pun, of inconsequential, irrelevant, hardly amusing trolling.
Now that's something which I'm upset about, because this is supposed to be a discussion, okay? And so I think that trolling is not necessarily desirable. So can you please kindly refrain from that when we're trying to have a good conversation? Participate by all means. You know, this should be about good arguments, basically.
I don't necessarily know whether that's a phenomena to do with you, Nick.
Ooh, biting. Oh, so biting. My heart bleeds.
Or I don't know whether it's to do with other people. My videos regarding the subject have been pragmatic, sensible, and draw upon a bank of knowledge that you have been unable to disagree with.
Yeah, it draws upon a bank of knowledge which is irrelevant to the nature of the discussion. It draws upon ideas which are irrelevant to the usefulness in the longer term. It does not speak about the way in which people's minds change through study. It does not speak about the usefulness when it comes to understanding ideas and treating audiovisual medium as if it is a form of literature, which is basically the argument in my first video. So if you want to use this bank of knowledge, what you are doing is you are strawmanning me, misrepresenting my position. That is what you are doing. Okay?
Because the facts are all there.
The facts for a different subject are all there. If you were doing a social policy exam and you chose to use the reign of King Henry VIII, you would probably fail, and fail miserably. And I mean miserably, because you are using facts which were to do with a debate and a discussion which is thoroughly irrelevant to the question. So essentially, don't you dare, and I mean dare, come to me with this attitude and with your raised voice. Follow the argument if you wish to participate in it.
On the internet. Okay? It's not my problem.
No, but your inability to follow an argument does seem to be.
Facts are the facts.
The facts for a different discussion are the facts for a different discussion. I raised some very interesting points which you don't seem to be able to engage with because you are using data which is irrelevant to the nature of the discussion. You are a poor debater, but a very good misrepresenter, I must say.
With regards to media studies evolving into something in the future, with regards to it being a faculty of investigation and academic worth, and that's for the future to decide.
Oh, I don't think it's for the future to decide. It's for the here and now and the importance of the here and now and the way that things are going in the short term, not the long term. We can't use history as a means of analysing the way that things are in the here and now all the time. Sometimes yes, but not always.
Me, nor you, and certainly not the academics that work in the field. Generally, because they seem to be other individuals with different forms of degrees who've been sucked into that locale. Generally, because they can't find employment elsewhere.
And so what was the importance of their qualifications in, in, let's say, history, engineering, and then working behind a camera in a movie set?
Have a look at, in general, their research and the longitudinal effects or impacts of that research. Okay? That's a fact. We're talking about facts here.
Yeah. The fact is, I approached you with an argument about the intellectual validity, the artistic validity, the literature-based validity of media studies. And you can't even participate in the argument. I'm disappointed.
Right? I'm not going back and forth, alright? Whilst idiots create sock accounts and write fucking idiotic messages with regards to a supposed serious conversation.
Yes, I was trying to have a serious conversation with you. And I'm sorry that some people have tried to turn this into an opportunity for trolling. I am deeply sorry about that. Seriously.
Alright? If I want to do that, I can turn a video on and shout and scream like an idiot. And achieve 3 or 4 times the amount of page views that I will achieve making a response to you.
Interesting. You've obviously got your own priorities, fine. But I have my priorities. Now is to discuss the usefulness of a certain form of discipline and the way in which I felt it was important in the world today. You don't seem to be able to follow the argument. But I'm also very upset about that.
Alright? You seemed to want to engender a serious conversation regarding the subject.
Yes.
And nothing has happened.
Oh, I wouldn't say nothing's happened. I think something very big has happened.
Apart from either you or individuals associated with you disliking the conversation, whilst you supposedly present some form of credible personality.
Thank you.
While discussing something you admit yourself you know fuck all about.
No, certainly not. I am capable of intellectually discerning when something is useful for a particular argument and when something is useless for a particular argument. You, on the other hand, choose to take what you regard as being factual information, which is relevant to another debate, and you throw it into this one. What on earth is the matter with you? And yes, I am raising my voice at you, and the reason is because you raised your voice at me when I was perfectly capable and perfectly willing to discuss this in a civil manner. Now, if you don't like someone's comment, you can delete them. You can block that individual or that stock account or whatever. But to raise your voice at me and demonstrate through your arguments that you have no ability to be able to follow that argument shows that you yourself should actually be studying social science and humanities. You should be studying genre theory yourself from media studies, so that you can work out a particular person's argument, point of view, the genre of the actual video, the particular issues it's trying to focus in on and why it's trying to focus in on them. It requires intelligence. It requires an understanding which you don't seem to be able to articulate and express in what you are creating here. You actually need to know things to participate in a debate. And I was willing to discuss this subject on its artistic and creative and intellectual importance merit, okay? Employment statistics are not useful in this discussion.
I don't know about that, Nick. Not chuffed.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Disappointed, in fact.
Oh, that is rich.
Disappointed, because this is the first rung of video responses I've had with you. And look what's happened. Is this what normally happens with you on the internet? I don't know.
Interesting question. Why would one ask? Is this what normally happens with you? I mean, have you actually had a look at my internet history? You've seen a fair few videos that I have done. I have a fair quantity out there. And what was it you're objecting to? Is it that you're objecting to my argument? I don't think so. I think that you're objecting to my inability to turn the discussion with me about things that I presented to you into something that you wanted it to become. Now, this is the behaviour of a bully, actually. Alright? Because what a bully tends to do is he tries to make an individual do as they are told. Alright? Which I was not trying to do. I had a point of view. I was wanting to discuss my point of view with you. And what you are trying to do, and in through deliberately raising your voice at me, when essentially what you're reacting to is the trolling and not to the content of my video, this is definitely the behaviour of a bully. And this is not making me very happy either. And it's showing an awful lot about your character.
Is this why you are somewhat of a lone entity with regards to making videos? I don't know. Comes to Nick.
Right, a lone entity, right. This is an interesting point, actually, isn't it? Is there a way of expressing to you that I am also intellectually capable of recognizing what it means to be in a community and what it means to not be in a community? Am I capable of recognizing that I have a different point of view, which is more down to earth, rational, and is not laden with belief or with the same forms of politics that other people have? Yes, I am. Am I capable of realizing that when I am in a community, let's say with my friends, with, I don't know, my sport and social club or whatever it is, that I will have different points of view? Yes. Do I have to sing all the same songs, come out with all the same buzzwords? No, I don't. Because that's what it means to be an individual. So why is it that I'm this lone entity here on YouTube? I think it's because of a certain level of honesty about what I think about. I think it's because of a certain level of realism and a certain level of wisdom. I mean, do you value someone because they're in a clique? Do you value people who are just following group think? Is that your real understanding of what it means to be a appropriate individual within society? Or is it a question of what a person thinks, where their values really are, and the fact that they can look at something and they can recognize when it's good, when it's bad, what's good about it, what's bad about it? Yes, wise monkey, you have done with me and you have made it very plain, but in no manner which could be regarded even remotely as being intellectually dishonest. In no manner that could be regarded as being intellectually honest. Sorry, tongue got a bit tied then, but I'm sure you can forgive that. Bottom line, wise monkey, I'm sorry that you've chosen such a myopic attitude to this discussion. I'm sorry about that. And I am genuinely sorry that you got trolled in a manner which you weren't happy with. I'm sorry about that. Very genuinely. Because I do value your inputs and I do value the videos that you do. It often gives me a bit of more things to think about, different points of view. I don't agree with your points of view. I don't have to agree with your points of view, because essentially if we were to just deal with the issue of agreements, then life would be rather drab if one only ever followed the videos of people one agreed with. Wouldn't you say? God bless. Even the atheists.